YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Yes, it is. What's up, 7 shots? That's a lot of shots. I'm greeting people over on the live me. Maureen, good morning. How are you? A couple Team Plaque 1 members are rolling on in. Good to see y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. Once we get up to 30 people over on the live me, the show will officially begin. And we're almost there now. We're at 22. So let me grab the guitar so I can get ready with the theme song. Howdy, howdy, DC. What's up? Good to see you. We're at 26. What's up, Sake? For anyone that's new, welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means you guys tweet me articles at Ron Placone, or you can use our Reddit subsection, which let me pull that up right now. Let me pull that up before we officially begin. And we'll do some housekeeping to start out as well. I know the GOP is a train wreck, but that's a bit much, huh? Right? Nice. For the win. Where were you yesterday? We needed you yesterday when we did the clip for that one. That's when we really needed you. All right, let me pull up the Reddit. Boom. And guys, apparently there was a what's up, T at 5? Good to see you. Apparently, we're actually going to have some breaking news that is not the best. Somebody texted me some info. All right, guys. But without further ado, let's let the show officially begin. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together. We'll make it on. Get your news on with Ron. I want to know what's going on. Get our news on today. Thank you very much, Angry Cantaloupe. Says I love this song. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. That means you guys create the show. You guys tweet me articles. We go through them together. That is how we get our news on. Do we send subjects on here? My question is, was there any unusual influence by the DNC? All right, I'll go ahead and respond to this. Yep, right here. We'll get to it today, so tune in. All right. So, guys, first of all, I started via suggestion. I started putting the Reddit in the descriptions over on the YouTube. Apparently, there was some confusion on how to get to the Reddit, so I wanted to make that easier for everybody. So I do have the Reddit page in the descriptions over on the YouTubes now, and I will try to do that the best I can. Posting in the Reddit's a good way to get an article to me, or tweeting while we're live is the best way to get an article to me. So I'm a little bit better on Twitter than I am on Reddit, admittedly. But that's the best way to get an article to me. We already have a bunch of stuff that you guys sent in. And In Before HRC is the one who gets indicted over Russiagate. Guess we'll see. Yeah, I know they're still going back and forth about that memo and all that fun jazz. So let's see what we got going on. And feel free to tweet an article about that, Saki, if you want to talk about it more. Let's see here. So we're going to have to start a little bit untraditional today because I got a text message. Apparently, there was another school shooting in Los Angeles. People in the YouTube are having trouble finding you in the live me. Well, it's all the same stuff. Oh, by the way, guys, over on the YouTube, that's another piece of housekeeping I wanted to mention. I do have people feeding me some of the stuff on the YouTube to the best of their ability. So there are people monitoring the chat over on YouTube, getting your chats to me. So I get to those the best I can. Unfortunately, I can't monitor 2 different chats at this time. But you know, because that's just a lot. But I do have people that feed me stuff. So here we go. But yeah, apparently there was another school shooting in LA. So we're going to start there. Because somebody texted me that. This is from 13 minutes ago on NBC News. Oh, and if you're trying to find me on the live me, just yeah, the best thing to do is just get the app. And then you can search for people that way. And mine is just my name, Ron Placone. On the website, to my knowledge, they do not have a way to actually search for content creators on the website itself, which is kind of weird and kind of backwards in my opinion. I have brought it up to them several times. So if there's any live me admins in here, it'd be a really good idea to have people be able to search for content creators that they want to watch on your website. It would help us out. It would help you out. Just throwing it out there. There was a shooting at a Los Angeles middle school. Here we go. Again, this just happened. Los Angeles middle school shooting. 2 students wounded. A female student is in custody. A teenage girl was taken into custody after a shooting at a Los Angeles middle school on Thursday. DC is saying that the school is called Sal Castro Middle School. The gunfire wounded at least 2 students, a 15-year-old boy who is in critical condition and a 15-year-old girl who's in fair condition, the Los Angeles Fire Department said. Sal Castro Middle School, just west of downtown Los Angeles, was on lockdown as officers responded to the scene. Aerial footage on local television showed a girl being led out of the school in handcuffs. So they had to get, we had to get one more school shooting in before the, you know, well, I guess technically this happened today, so it is February 1st. So we pretty much had a school shooting every other day in January. So now for the month of February, we are one for one. We literally have a school shooting. As of right now, we have a school shooting for every day this month. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. 15-year-old boys in critical condition, 15-year-old girls in fair condition. So it looks like, I mean, this boy may or may not make it as of the recording of this. I mean, critical condition. You know, sometimes people bounce back, especially, you know, this person does have youth on their side. So maybe they'll be able to beat this thing and recover. But, you know, critical condition, that's not likely. Likely this 15-year-old boy is not going to make it. Lucy's upset. Lucy's meowing. Yeah, she wants something to be done about guns in this country. And you know what? I think it's worth reiterating. During the State of the Union, all Donald Trump said, now keep in mind, when that State of the Union was recorded, at that point in time, we had a school shooting every other day, pretty much. Virtually every other day, we've had a school shooting so far this year in 2018. Donald Trump did not even acknowledge it. He didn't even acknowledge it. He didn't even say anything about it. I have no idea the motivation of this shooter. I have no clue. Lucy's walking out in protest again, though. I do know that. Yeah, I have no clue the motivation of this shooter. I don't think anyone knows at this point. But Donald Trump didn't even mention all the school shootings. All he said was, we're going to protect the Second Amendment. That was all he said, even remotely hinting at acknowledging the school shootings. Do we expect him to? LOL. No, I don't expect him to. But here's the thing. This is another example of Trump putting an ugly face on what we've already had for years and years. Past presidents have given lip service when there's been school shootings. Obama, Clinton, whatever. They've given lip service. Bush. They've given lip service when we've had a school shooting. But really, if they were being honest with you, they would just get up to a podium and say, don't worry, the Second Amendment's fine. That's what, if they were being honest, that's what they would say. Trump, that's just what he says. Not because he's some great, honest person, but because he has no sense of subtlety. He has no sense of tact. He's just knee-jerk. So, of course, that's all he's going to say. He accidentally tells the truth time and time again. And that part of the State of the Union was a good example of that. Didn't even mention the school shootings, mentioned protecting the Second Amendment. If every president, at least in my lifetime, was being honest, that's all they would say too. Donald Trump was accidentally honest in that moment. So, I mean, I don't know what else can you say at this point. I mean, we're all broken records at this point. Nothing is going to happen about weapons policy in this country. By the way, no other country has issues with gun violence the way we do. No other country. And yeah, I'm not saying that if we got rid of all guns that, you know, everything would solve our problems. I don't think that's the solution. But having a more common sense gun policy that's federal, that would help a whole hell of a lot. We have problems with violence that go beyond that. And there's a number, really our system can speak to that a lot. But it would help a whole hell of a lot if we had a common sense federal weapons policy in this country. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. Now, the NRA has both parties by the gullet, and they ain't letting go anytime soon. And it's not even just money at this point that they funnel in. It's just influence, just the amount of people that love that organization, that subscribe to that organization. I mean, no politician's going to touch it. None of them. Dem Socialist says, we need mandatory wait periods, no private sale, and mental health help. I think there's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things. Reference notes, I think, is a good idea. I think more extensive background checks, prohibiting sales at gun shows and prohibiting magazines, restricting certain types of weapons that nobody needs if they just want something for basic self-defense or they just want to hunt deer. You know, you want to hunt deer, that's fine. I'm not against that. You want a hunting rifle to shoot your food? I am against hunting for sport. If you're killing a creature just to kill it, you're sick and demented. I don't care. Well, Ron, it's a tradition. No, you're sick and demented. If you kill living creatures for the hell of it, you're sick and demented. If you kill deer for food, that's different. That's hunting. That's okay. I'm not against that. But, you know, nor am I against if you want something for basic self-defense in a horrible situation, that's different. But again, you don't need some semi-automatic weapon, some magazine, some machine gun. You don't need that for that. You really don't. Nor do you need like 100 guns. I mean, it's insane. I mean, and I don't know anybody. I don't know one gun owner personally that don't want some type of federal common sense gun policy, that don't recognize this problem. So, and some of you guys in the chat know more about guns than me. I feel, I know some of you guys hunt and stuff like that, which is great. I mean, I'm not, you know, I have no problem with that. I just don't understand a lot of the verbiage you guys are talking about. What's up, Becca? Good to see you again. I've seen deer take 12 gauge slugs. A 22 is useless against large game. I'll take your guys' word for it. Sake says the 22 caliber is 90% of hunting needs meant. Sake says you can hunt with a spear. Bobby in The Sopranos, he went to bow and arrow. I know that. That's where my hunting knowledge begins and ends with fictional TV shows. So that's all I got to add to that, you guys. But yeah, I just so far every day this month we've had a school shooting, and I get it. It's February 1st, but it's pretty eerie, huh? We had a shooting every other day in January. We have more school shootings in a month than most places have ever have ever had. We have more in a month. But I can't wait for politicians on both sides of the fence to tell us how now's not the time, to tell us how the Second Amendment is fine, to tell us how not to politicize this. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. All right, let's move on. It's a really, really bummer way to start, but that's what's happening, and this is news. Get your news on with Ron. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get through here. Okay, here we go. Somebody, let's see here. Marcus sends this in. This looks like another really messed up story. Man convicted for Finsbury Park terror attack. A man who deliberately drove a van into a group of Muslims near a North London mosque has been convicted of murder and attempted murder. These were prosecuted as acts of terrorism. I remember when that happened. Darren Osborne, 48, hired the van in South Wales and drove it to London on Sunday, the 18th of June, planning to attack people attending the Al-Quds Day March. I remember when that happened. When that proved impossible, he drove around the capital looking for a mosque. He arrived in the Finsbury area just before midnight. Seven Sisters Road was relatively busy at the time because it was Ramadan and many Muslims were going to or coming from prayers at either the Finsbury Park Mosque or the Muslim Welfare House. Just after midnight, Osborne saw a crowd helping 51-year-old Makrim Ali, who had collapsed at the junction of Seven Sisters Road and Wadcote Street. Some of those in the group were wearing traditional Islamic dress. Osborne deliberately drove his vehicle into the group, killing Mr. Ali and trying to kill as many others as he could. A witness recalled Osborne saying, "I've done my job, you can kill me now," when he was stopped by members of the public as he tried to escape. He later said, "At least I had a proper go." And he's been convicted, and these were prosecuted as acts of terrorism. Good. You know why? Because it was an act of terrorism. You know what else is an act of terrorism? When you take your car and you drive into a peaceful protester who's protesting neo-Nazis. That's also an act of terrorism, by the way. That is also an act of terrorism. Keep that in mind. So yeah, good. He got convicted for an act of terrorism. He was convicted for that, and it was an act of terrorism. And he was stopped by the public. All right. You guys are having a debate about hunting. I don't hunt. If you want to hunt because you want to hunt your food, I think that's your choice. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, as long as you're hunting your food. If you kill creatures for fun, you have problems. You should go get mental help. And what you're doing is disgusting. If you kill creatures for fun, if you shoot a target that's not living, that's fine too. Good for you. Have fun. If you kill for food, that's fair too. That's okay. I'm not, there's a thing called a food chain. We're on the top of it. That's life. And if you guys don't agree, like, don't eat meat. I mean, that's your right too. Don't eat meat if you feel differently. I know a lot of people that feel differently. That's their right. Don't eat meat. Get your protein by other ways. All power to you. I'd like to be a vegetarian at some point, but honestly, I lack the discipline. Get your tofu on. You know what? This needs to be said. Not enough people say this. They fuck tofu up at a restaurant, I would say 90% of the time. And like I do my best. I really do. I don't eat meat very often. I try to only eat meat about 20% of the time. Not even because of some moral ground. I don't think it's morally wrong to eat meat. If I did, I wouldn't eat meat. But just because of health's sake, I try not to eat too much meat. But they fuck up tofu constantly. Like, you have to be really careful. The one time they hardly ever fuck up tofu is in hot and sour soup. Hot and sour soup, they always nail tofu in hot and sour soup. And maybe that's just like what it was made for. Maybe it was like, this belongs in hot and sour soup. Anywhere else, you're fucking rolling the dice. Oh man, Toy Rock and Roll Tie on Sunset. I freaking love that place, DC. That's so DC just mentioned this place right on Sunset, right across from Nerd Melts. It's a really hip comedy hangout. It's called Toy. Is that how you say it? It's an all-night rock and roll Thai restaurant. And I've actually never had a dish with tofu in there. Usually when I get Thai food, I just get it with vegetables. Like I just get because one thing you have to keep in mind, and I know some of you are morally against eating meat, and that's fine. I'm not. I respect your opinion. I hope you respect mine. But I do make an effort, and a lot of these certain types of cuisine, you have to keep in mind they're meant to be enjoyed. They're not really meant to be enjoyed with meat. So it's like, because a lot of those cultures, like they don't eat a lot of meat. They don't they don't highlight meat the way we do. Like, it's pretty much like us, I think Argentina, Brazil. There's only a handful of countries and cultures that focus on meat as much as we do. And there's a lot of research out there that indicates it's not the healthiest thing in the world. If you've ever seen the documentary Forks Over Knives, like we're not supposed to be as meat obsessed as we are. I do believe that to be true. So, so when you get like Thai food and like Indian food and stuff like that, like a lot of those cultures, meat's not supposed to be super heavily emphasized. So when you get a dish and you get meat in it, they put a lot of meat in there because, it's the States and they want to please our palates. But if you really focus on it, it's almost like kind of distracting because it's not supposed to be enjoyed that way. So a lot of times when I get a noodle dish at a Thai restaurant, I'll just get it with vegetables because that's kind of the way it's supposed to be. And it tastes better. I don't miss the meat. I don't feel like I'm missing out on something. I feel like it's the right, like it's just the right texture, the right thing. 45 years ago, we ate meat twice a month. It's an interesting point. Forever voting third party. Veggies are amazing. I agree with you. I kid. LA has world-class vegan and vegetarian. Get your tie on with Ron. Thank you. Bless. All right. Cool. We'll have to have a cooking. We'll have a cooking segment, and it can be a vegetarian cooking segment. I'm cool with that. I do like making a lot of vegetarian meals, and I do it. At some point, I'm going to quit meat, not because of a moral stance, just because I want to. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm just not quite there yet. For those of you that have, I respect your discipline and I'm envious and, you know, I applaud you. But I ain't there yet. I ain't there yet. Spin-off show, Get Your Cooking On with Ron. Maybe one of these days. All right, let's move on to another news article. Let's see here. Okay, Amelia asks, I'm not sure if you've seen Bernie Sanders' statement on Russia-Iran sanctions, but I'd love to hear your take. Depending on how new this is, I may or may not be hip to this, but yeah, let's go ahead and do this. This is an older one, but let's dissect this. This is from June of 2017, but Amelia has asked for my take on it via a little Get Your News On with Ron retweet. So there could be a lot of subsection shows here. It could be Get Your Cooking On with Ron, Get Your Tie On with Ron, Get Your Tofu Analysis On with Ron, or Get Your Watch Ron Be Really Slow at Twitter On with Ron. So anywho, this is the Sanders statement from 2017 on Iran and Russia sanctions. I am strongly supportive of the sanctions on Russia included in this bill. It is unacceptable for Russia to interfere in our elections here in the United States or anywhere around the world. There must be consequences for such actions. I also have deep concern about the policies and activities of the Iranian government, especially their support for the brutal Assad regime in Syria. I've voted for sanctions on Iran in the past, and I believe sanctions endanger the very important nuclear agreement that was signed between the United States, its partners, and Iran in 2015. That is not a risk worth taking, particularly at a time of heightened tension between Iran and Saudi Arabia and its allies. I think the United States must play a more even-handed role in the Middle East and find ways to address not only Iran's activity, but also Saudi Arabia's decades-long support for radical extremism. Okay, so Bernie's take on all this. This is Bernie Sanders, by the way, that I was reading. Bernie did vote against those sanctions at that time. He was one of two people to vote against them, him and Rand Paul. I am not in favor of escalating every tension with Russia. I'm not for that. Also, I am very concerned about the Red Scare that's going on. You guys have heard me talk about that time and time again. The deep state has used this as a way to go after independent media, as you've seen with RT America and other outlets. They've used this as a way to create a new Red Scare. They've used this as a way of distracting from what's really wrong with our system. This is McCarthyism. The whole Russiagate is New Age McCarthyism. And as Cody points out, in Sanders' State of the Union response, he was saying that Trump is a Putin puppet. And look, this has nothing to do. Andrew points out, Bernie talking about Russia made my heart sink. Mine too, Andrew. Mine too. I was very disappointed by that. Was I shocked? I wasn't shocked. Bernie is going to be playing the game a little bit until 2020 because I think he plans to run in 2020, and I think he plans to run as a Democrat. I think the Russiagate verbiage in there, if you saw, Cody says, I thought he was above that BS. I want him to be too, Cody. I really do. But I don't, I'm not shocked. I think he knows, he has to win over some of those people. And he is playing the game because of that. And it doesn't make me happy at all. I wish that wasn't the case, but I'm not shocked. Disappointed? Extremely. Shocked? No. And overall, I thought his response was good. I thought a lot of the issues he harped on was good. What I would have really loved is instead of the Russiagate section, he would have substituted that section instead for a section on foreign policy and a section on ending the wars and investing that money back home. That's what I really would have loved to have seen instead. So I guess getting back to this, it's hard for me to see Bernie parrot the Russiagate thing. It really is. And again, this has nothing to do with, I mean, keep in mind, because I have this argument all the time, like, well, why is Trump and his friends acting shady if there's nothing to hide? Because there is stuff to hide. They're shady oligarchs. They participate with other shady oligarchs. Some of them are from Russia. It's normal white collar corruption. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're probably going to find money laundering. And yeah, that's corrupt. Certainly. Trump's not acting like some innocent party. But is this worth a 24/7 distractathon? No. Is this worth avoiding talking about actual policy because you'd rather talk about Russia 24/7? No. Is this worth the Democrats not having any policy alternatives to Trump? So when he spews out bullshit at the State of the Union, there is no opposition whatsoever because they've done no opposition research. They've proposed no alternative policies. Instead, they're just yelling Russia 24/7 to distract from the fact that they are a dead party in the water. I mean, just read between the lines. And yeah, having a Red Scare and a New Age McCarthyism with another nuclear power ain't good. And these people like, oh, well, it's metaphorical. We don't actually want conflict with Russia. And these are all talking points people on the quote-unquote left have given me, by the way. We don't want an actual war. We're not talking. Gee, I'm sorry that I don't take my war metaphors lightly when I live in a country that's involved in fucking 8 of them. 8 of them. I mean, what the fuck? We're the left. It's metaphorical war with us. Shut up. So yeah, it's hard watching Bernie engage in the Russiagate nonsense. And it is nonsense. We're going to find out Trump's a shady oligarch that had money laundering and some other shady business deals, and some of the people were Russian. Did any of you need a 1.5-year investigation for that? Any of you? I didn't think so. How do 2 parties illegally continue war? Because we're too busy talking about Russia. That's why. When we do the same thing to other countries and our own. Yeah, exactly. DC points out he's a corrupt businessman and politically clueless, period. By skirting omission and guilt, he can distract endlessly. Yeah, and by the way, that's another fun point. Saki points out something important here. Whenever it's Russia, Trump's numbers go up. Rachel Maddow's not helping. These people on the left that are kind of acknowledging that Russiagate's kind of like hysteria, because it is. But then they're saying, yeah, but it helps our cause. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. His numbers go up. When people were hammering him on the AHCA, his poll numbers plummeted like a motherfucker. When they are Russia, you piss off his base, his numbers go up. DC points out he's at 42% right now. You know why he's at 42% right now? Because he gave a State of the Union where there was no opposition policy being thrown out there because the Democrats haven't done it because they talked about Russia nonstop. In conclusion, Russiagate helped Trump get to 42%. It helped him succeed at a State of the Union that was bullshit, that was substanceless, and that was a war rally. He succeeded at that nonsense State of the Union where he spoke for about 8 minutes, proved that he couldn't even read, and clapped every 5 seconds. He gave a speech that an 8-year-old shouldn't be proud of, yet it worked. Why? Because there's no frickin' opposition. The response speech was a bunch of nonsense from a corporatist big pharma shill that talked about nothing for 20 minutes and had drool all over his face. I think he had the drool all over his face because he just got his paycheck from big pharma and he was excited about it. But let's talk about Russia some more. And yeah, that was a very disappointing segment in Bernie's State of the Union response. That was very disappointing. Compared to the rest of them, he knocked it out of the park. if you would have substituted that Russiagate nonsense for some policy, some foreign policy talk about ending the wars, I would have given him an A+. But, he got a B. All right, we got some chats here. I gotta get to. Pat Hacker, shooting up poor folks doesn't matter to the 0.1%. They have their gated communities and armed guards. Absolutely. Somebody says toy is so 10 years ago. It most certainly is not. I think that's my roommate saying that. You are wrong, Pasta. We're going to go to toy together now. So George Johnson, Maddow went 5 minutes last night before saying Russia. That's a new record. Wow, she's changing. Remember the Rachel Maddow drinking game. If you take a shot every time Rachel Maddow says Russia, you'll be dead in 20 minutes. Pat Hacker, Gabbard, Fetterman 2020, an unbeatable ticket. Even Republicans would vote for them. Tulsi Gabbard, and there are some things about Tulsi Gabbard I have a lot of concerns about that are still kind of unfolding. I will say that. However, one thing that's undeniable about Tulsi Gabbard is her crossover appeal. I do have some concerns about her. Yes, I think we all do. But her crossover appeal is undeniable. She's a veteran. She knows how to communicate with the right. Marcus says your American accent is improving, comrade. Thank you, Marcus. I like how the Democrat. By the way, when I wanted to say when the Democrats were like, we have the potential for momentum, I wanted to be like, in Soviet Russia, losing is winning. All right, we got a few other things to read here. Hold on, let me get through this. So yeah, I think Tulsi Gabbard, if she ran in 2020, she would win in a landslide. I do think that. I do truly think that. Richard Painter? Why are you comparing me to Richard Painter? I can't stand that guy. Guess what? I was never an ethics lawyer for the Bush administration. We get our moral compass from an ethics lawyer from the Bush administration. My voice? I talk like this. I talk like Richard Painter. I talk like Richard. The Bush administration, we wouldn't tolerate this type of blah, 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 blah. Oh, my Dem impression is Richard Painter-esque? I can take that. I can take that. All right. JK says, the California Dems blocking Jaffe makes me wishful for a party where progressives can run without the party throwing the kitchen sink at them. I'm with you. I don't understand Bernie's strategy. I don't. I think at this point, the Democratic Party is broken beyond repair. A third party is necessary. Derek Robert Clinton Kennedy 2020. After all, the Kennedy guy's rebuttal was so fantastic. He really meant every word. That is, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Derek is being sarcastic. No, I know he is. And Derek also says if you gave Jank an enema and put a pair of black frame glasses on him, he would get Rachel Maddow. I don't know about that. I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. So let's move on. This is from The Real News. This is sent from Pasta, who, full disclaimer, is my roommate. And this is actually from yesterday. Pasta's getting better. Pasta used to only tweet articles that were like 2 years old. I don't know why. Pasta's talking shit on Toy, the Thai restaurant. Oh, that's so 10 years ago. The articles you send are so 10 years ago, buddy. The article. But this one's from yesterday. Pasta nailed it. Portland, thank you for the star points. Good to see you. And again, great to have you back, buddy. You've been very missed, and the community is very, very happy to see you back. In California, this is from therealnews.com. Pasta is my roommate, Becca, who is on the Team Plaque One patron-only podcast. And he is also the monitor guy in the YouTube chat. He helps out with the YouTube chat because I can only do one chat. So Pasta is the moderator there. He does that. Yeah. In California, the state Democratic Party has made efforts to protect centrist Democratic incumbents using questionable technicalities to dismiss primary challengers' petition for the party's endorsements. I like spiral pasta. Fuck, me too, Andrew. I freaking love spiral pasta. You can really do it. Dem Socialists, we will talk about that later. Don't let me forget to do that. On our housekeeping moment, Dem Socialist is asking... Dem Socialist is asking about expanding the show to 2 hours. I did a poll on Twitter yesterday. We will talk about that once we're done with the articles here before we sign off. I will be signing off at 11 today, but we will talk about it before we sign off. Which, by the way, guys, if you have not sent an article yet, please do not do so. We have more than we have time for. My co-host Lucy wants to sign back in. Lucy, in or out? There we go. She's back. Lucy's on the mic. Such a diva. What kind of co-host just gets to leave their post whenever they feel like it? This cat's got it made. She bitches about her contract nonstop. And what does she have going for her? She has her new wet food that she hasn't even quite finished yet. Lucy, we're talking about you. And she gets her dental treats now. And she gets pampered by everybody that lives here. You can see her. She's going to complain about it. She's going to say that's not in my contract. But you know what? Ask and ye shall receive. Lucy, I'm sorry. Your dialogues have been great over on the Patreon, but your presence has been requested. I'm Lucy. Hi. There's going to be some people that are like, Ron's okay with hunting, and he's okay with showing his cat to the camera. But she loves you guys. Lucy, you're the best. You're the best, Lucy. I love you very much. She's a very sweet cat. She's a very sweet cat. Which, by the way, have to do a quick little housekeeping plug. If you want to read some of Lucy's writing, you can do so over on my Patreon, patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for just $1 a month, you can become a member. Everyone gets the same content. I only do one tier, and the suggested amount is $5. If you can't give that much, that's totally fine. I know how that is. Give at any level you're comfortable with. I don't care, if you give more, if you give less, I don't care. I want your membership because I do a lot of content on the Patreon, and you get free tickets to any of my shows, and I'm doing more and more touring. I'm doing some house shows this year. I'm going to be in San Antonio, Texas, Galena, Illinois, working on Richmond, Virginia, getting that finalized. Going to be out and about with some other shows. Got a really exciting thing going on in San Diego at the end of February. I can't announce yet. The reason I can't announce it yet is because it probably involves another show that I'm on. So I'm going to say, exciting stuff, San Diego, but I can't announce it yet. And it's this month, February. New York City, Sake, I will be in New York City. Hopefully the Jimmy Dore Show will be in New York City as well. Working on it. So anyway, yeah, patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. In California, the state Democratic Party has made efforts to protect centrist Democratic incumbents, including using questionable technicalities to discuss primary challengers' petitions for the party's endorsement. Their bylaws stipulate that Democratic incumbents automatically receive the endorsement. Stephen Jaffe, the primary challenger to House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi in California's 12th District, acquired the necessary 20% threshold of signatures to prevent the California Democratic Party from formally endorsing Pelosi. He acquired the signatures from 37 out of 182 eligible delegates and submitted his petition with a $350 fee before the deadline on January 17th. The California Democratic Party rejected the challenge, later claiming there were 190 eligible delegates. The party never shared the list of 8 extra delegates with Jaffe, who appealed the decision, which will be ruled. So they're basically keeping delegates away from him that he needs to get. They're not giving him all the information he needs. Similar to how they defeated single payer in the state of California. They told the committee and the nurses what they needed in the bill. The nurses followed suit, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, this isn't okay. We're going to shelf this now. And Anthony Rendon did that. So the Democratic Party has, and in particular, this is all in California, by the way. What happened with single payer, California. What happened to Stephen Jaffe, he's up in San Francisco, so also California. The Democratic Party has a trend of not giving people the proper information they need. They have a trend of denying Justice Democrats the information that they are entitled to, the data they're entitled to. And then they have the DCCC, which requires you to pay for their consultants and spend money the way they want you to spend money. And you have to spend a certain amount of it or they're not interested. It's a borderline pyramid scheme at this point. But that gatekeeper is necessary if we continue to stay in the Democratic Party, which is one of the reasons I feel like the Democratic Party, it's broken beyond repair. This is a rigged system. The DNC is a rigged operation. The DCCC, which I always thought the CCC stands for corrupt Clinton cash. The game is rigged. The scales are tilted. This is just another example of it. They don't give a man the information on the delegates he needs, so he thinks he's meeting the threshold, but he's actually not because they didn't even give him the total number. You guys understand what's happening there, right? Same thing happened to another Democratic Party candidate, Maria Estrada, met the petition requirements to challenge the party's endorsement of House Speaker Anthony Rendon. Interesting, he comes up. After she filed the petition, Anthony Rendon, by the way, the guy that didn't get single payer in California, the guy who shelved single payer in California. Oh, and by the way, he's been complaining because he says he can't even go out in public without getting harassed. Fucking good. Good. People have every right to let their voice be heard when they see that guy. Every fucking right in the world. Because he's not letting us have single payer. And the state wants it. And there's a majority of progressives, and they're being stifled by the Democratic Party, by the corporatists in the party, by the corporate apologists and the cappuccino conservatives in the party. Maria Estrada, and by the way, when I say I just mean verbally talking to the guy. I don't mean, I don't mean anything else. Maria Estrada met the petition requirements to challenge the party's endorsements, and after she filed the petition, which had one more signature than the 10 she was required, letters were sent to the two delegates asking that their signatures be revoked, though no procedure exists to allow signatures to be removed. Estrada's campaign suspects that Rendon or his campaign formally contacted delegates to pressure them into writing the letters. The game's rigged. The game's rigged. And this is why I think a third party is necessary. This is why I think, even though that's a really long haul, and at this point, as far as 2020 goes, it's too late. Bernie had a chance to go into the draft Bernie movement. He chose not to. I don't know why he chose not to. I don't know why. But all right, we got time for about two more. And I know how I want to end here. More than 6 in 10 back a new law to protect Mueller. This is a poll from CNN. Seth sends this. More than 6 in 10 Americans, 62%, support legislation to protect special counsel Robert Mueller by requiring a panel of federal judges to sign off before any special counsel could be fired. The new Mammoth University survey comes amid reports that President Donald Trump attempted to fire the chief investigator into possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. I get tired just saying it. I am more tired right now than I was a few moments ago. Just saying, I'm so fucking sick of it. Gloom and Goblin, that's where we're going next. Don't worry. That is where we're going next. That's how we're going to end, because I have an announcement that ties in with what you sent. Broad majorities of Democrats, 76%, and independents, 65%, support efforts to shield Mueller from unilateral presidential action. Republicans are nearly divided, 44% support and 47% oppose. Some Republicans like Susan Collins, Chuck Grassley, Lindsey Graham, and Tom Tillis All right. On a separate note, Americans are split on whether Trump attempting to fire Mueller rises to the level of an attempt to obstruct justice. 41% say it qualifies. 44% say it's less serious. There's a partisan split here. 66% of Democrats say it's obstruction. 74% of Republicans say it's less serious. Okay. Okay. Are you guys sick of this shit yet? I mean, are you guys sick of this bullshit yet? Are you guys sick of all of our intelligence agencies who don't like Trump because he's not able to just continue the war economy as usual? It's not that he doesn't want to, it's that he's not able to because he's a knee-jerk reactionary psychopath as opposed to a subtle psychopath, which is the presidents we're used to. So they're just going to do another useless fucking poll. Is it obstruction of justice or not? Is it collusion or just interference? Eventually it's going to be like, did he eat Russian dressing on Thursday? And you know what? Go ahead and investigate it until you're blue in the face. I know that Trump likely has deals with shady Russian oligarchs. Yeah. If they find out money laundering tomorrow, would I be shocked? Of course not. I'd be shocked if they didn't find it. I'd be shocked if there was no like money laundering with shady oligarchs. That would shock me. Like, but what's the, I mean, like, yeah. Trump is gross, but he's bought by the same people as Dems. Yes. I'm glad most people agree special investigators should be protected. I agree with that. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you there. And that should go for any president, whether it's Trump or anybody else. Yes, special investigators should be protected. I totally agree with that. That's the only piece of substance in this article. The rest of this poll is just like, just more bullshit verbiage. The second poll was pointless, in my opinion. I'm with you. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all. Yeah, I think Dem Socialist, you summed it up perfectly. Special investigators should be protected. Totally. I'm all about that. Second poll was pretty pointless. And this whole Russiagate thing is getting beyond ridiculous. All right. Thank you for that. We got to end here. We got a few more. Shirley Vick says the DCC has consultants for dummies. Do we have a progressive Labor Party yet? George Johnson asked. No, but I really wish we did have a comprehensive third party that included everybody. When men like Bill Binney are sidelined, the game is fixed. Yeah, that guy had to go to another country just to do the type of work he wanted to do. All right, we got to get to this, and we're almost out of time. This is from Gloomin. Hold up. Gloomy Goblin. I love your name. That's awesome. Thank you so much for tweeting this. We're going to do this real quick, and then I got to sign off. So this is a video from David Hildebrand. And here, you guys will be able to hear it.
By the DNC and the 2016 primary.
Oh, what a clown. What a clown.
Okay.
All right, so in this video, you couldn't see it. And I heard about this because my roommate, Pasta, was actually at this event. He told me about it. And there was a debate. It was between David Hildebrand, who's running for Senate, Allison Hartson, that was running for Senate, Pat Harris, who's running for Senate. 3 progressives, by the way. And I wish 2 of them would run for something different, just so we can be stronger together. I hate to use that cliche, but sometimes you got to play the game. And they asked if there was unusual influence by the DNC in the 2016 primary. David said, hell yes. Allison said, hell yes. Pat said, hell yes. And De Leon, who is the establishment candidate, who has a super PAC, who is much more. Now, he did something good on net neutrality. I'll give it to him there. He did this wavy thing with his yes or no thing. He was very fickle. And apparently he did that throughout the entire thing because he's a corporatist. He doesn't know how to think for himself. So he needs to look at the progressives for them to tell him what to do. He's the equivalent of the student that needs to cheat off of the other students. Is that student a leader? No. Is De Leon a leader? No. Thanks for doing what you did on net neutrality, De Leon, but I really, really hope I don't have to cast a vote for you ever. Ever. If it came down to you or Feinstein, would I begrudgingly vote for you? Yes. Would I be happy about it? No. And I really hope one of the progressives knocks this corporatist shill out. And that night, David did win the endorsement. He won the endorsement of the California Burners Club. Another fun fact about David Hildebrand, he will be on this show, Get Your News On with Ron, on February 6th. And we'll be talking some shop. We'll be clearing the air on a few things. We'll be discussing some ideas. And it'll be fun because, you know, I don't want three progressives to split the progressive vote. I don't want that to happen. So David and I are going to talk about how we can maybe prevent that. And we're going to be talking about a lot of other things as well. Gloomy Goblin, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you very, very much. Guys, we are totally out of time. I did not get to a lot of your news. And I'm very, very hard. I'm very, very sad about that. So yeah, he sounds like Trump, that dude. Who sounds like Trump? David? David Hildebrand doesn't sound like Trump. Who are you referring to? You're not referring to just an image. Thanks, Ron. All right, Saki, I will check that out as soon as I can. Guys, we are totally out of time. Got to sign off here. Thank you so much for your participation. I know we're not getting to all the articles. We have to. Are you very, very hard, Ron? No, not right now. Oh, the corporate dem. The corporate dem. Marcus says, okay, so De Leon sounds like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, David doesn't sound like Trump. Oh, so 2-hour shows. I did a poll yesterday, and I said, do you guys, should we expand the show to 2 hours? About 77% of people said no, or said yes, excuse me. 77% said yes. A couple people said no. Some people were like, you know, that might be too long. Maybe you should just be more open-ended with it. And yeah, those are all good ideas. I will be trying to expand this show as soon as I can and make it longer. Right now, I got other things on my plate as well, so I can't do that. But I really want to expand as soon as I possibly can. How can you support this show? Patreon.com/Ron Placone. I have a pay what you can level. So any level you're comfortable with giving, you get all the same benefits, which means you're going to get my album into your inbox when it's done. I'm doing a book in 2019. That's going to be delivered to your inbox when it's done. Ron is very, very hard, Frosty Buckets points out. And someone else pointed that out. I did say I'm very, very hard, didn't I? Yeah, I said I'm very, very hard. Yeah, Andrew also pointed that out. Yeah, I totally did say I didn't get to all your tweets, and I'm very, very hard because of it. I totally did say that. Clean your plate, young man. Frederick Murphy says, I'm trying. You know, I would love to have a lot more time specifically for this. And how can you help me get there? Go to the Patreon. I mean, it's just the truth, you guys. I need some help. I have some help, but I don't compensate them as much as I need to or as much as they deserve. I'd like to change that. I'd like to be able to invest more into this. I'd like to be able to get a monitor so you guys can see what I'm reading. You guys can see the articles that are tweeted to me. I'd like to do all that. I'd like to do dual platform streaming on more than just Live Me and YouTube. But I need some sustainable support for the show to do that. So patreon.com/Ron Placone. And what I was trying to say, by the way, it's very, very hard to get to all the tweets. I was reading chats as I was speaking. So it came out as I didn't get to all your tweets and I'm very, very hard. I apologize for that. Someone's going to take these sound bites and smear me later with it. So you guys got to defend me when that happens. You guys got to have my back. Someone's gonna be like, Ron Placone's a bizarre pervert. The tweet. He streams this weird show when he tells people he's hard. You guys have to have my back when that happens. Be like, no, Ron just fucking was trying to read and talk at the same time, and he's shitty at it. That's you know. All right, guys, we are totally out of time. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. Again, patreon.com/Ron Placone. If you are able, you get a ton of free perks. It helps with this show. And yeah, there's a ton of really cool benefits, including my cat Lucy's writing. So if you are able, you can give it any level you're comfortable with. And guys, I am grossly close to reaching my t-shirt goal. My first goal is to get t-shirts printed. 50 patrons, the first 50 are going to get them in the mail for free. The rest of the patrons, you're going to get them at a discounted rate available to you. So please, patreon.com/Ron Placone if you are so able. I will be expanding the show as soon as I can. I will be expanding the show. That will be soon. It won't be today, but it will be soon. We do this every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Dem Socialist, yes, you can. You will get a peek at the designs. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when we do this stream. And I cannot do this without you. You guys are tweeting a bunch of articles. You're posting articles on the Reddit. And you're making the show a lot of fun. Without you guys, it wouldn't be fun. If you guys just sent nothing, it would just be me being like, well, I want to know what's going on in the world, but no one will tell me. That would be the show. That'd be boring. So follow me on Twitter, @Ron Placone. Pay pasta. I'm working on it. Thank you, Thomas, for the star points. Thank you guys so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Get your news on with Ron. Want to know what's going on? We're getting your news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Want to know what's going on? Let's hope we don't start World War III. Tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and we'll make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Want to know what's going on? Getting our news on today. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. We'll be back at you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you then. Have a safe day.